The bedroom door flew open as Damian Crawford dropped the tablet in his hand. A faint melody echoed through the hallway. His heart pounded wildly. "No, that's impossible," he whispered, racing toward the sound. For 7 long years, silence had ruled his mansion, yet someone was singing. Before we uncover how that impossible moment happened, if you enjoy emotional stories filled with hope, sacrifice, and unforgettable endings, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell for more interesting stories like this. Just a few years earlier, Damian Crawford had everything money could buy. His technology empire stretched across continents. His luxurious estate overlooked the sparkling hills outside Maple Ridge, and his greatest treasure was his wife, Isabella. They had dreamed of becoming parents for years. "The nursery is finally ready," Isabella laughed one evening as she rested her hands on her growing belly. Damian kissed her forehead. "I can't wait to meet our little miracles." But fate had prepared a different ending. On the night Isabella went into labor, heavy rain lashed against the hospital windows. Doctors rushed in and out of the delivery room while Damian paced endlessly outside. Minutes later, a doctor stepped toward him, his face pale. "Mr. Crawford." Damian immediately knew something was terribly wrong. "We saved your twins, but we're so sorry. We couldn't save your wife." His knees gave way. "No," he gasped. "Please, no." The cries of 2 newborn Bobbies echoed through the corridor, but the woman they were meant to call mother would never hear them. Damian named them Noah and Lily, just as Isabella had wished. For a brief moment, he believed life would slowly heal. Instead, another heartbreak arrived. Several months later, specialists confirmed that both children had suffered severe hearing loss caused by complications during birth. Damian refused to believe it. "There has to be another doctor," he insisted. "There isn't." "What about surgery?" "We've explored every option." "I'll pay anything." The specialist lowered his eyes. "Money can't guarantee every miracle." Those words haunted Damian. Over the next 7 years, private hospitals, therapists, hearing specialists, and expensive treatments became part of his daily routine. Every promising report ended with another disappointment. Eventually, something inside him broke. The cheerful husband, Isabella, had loved disappeared. In his place stood a cold billionaire who buried himself in work. The once joyful Crawford estate became painfully quiet. Employees walked carefully. Doors closed gently. Footsteps became whispers. Nobody dared laugh. Nobody dared sing. Mistakes meant immediate dismissal. Even little Noah and Lily understood that their father rarely smiled anymore. Although they could not hear, they could see the sadness living inside his eyes. Every evening, Damian sat alone, inside Isabella's untouched music room. Her piano remained exactly where she had left it. Dust gathered slowly over the keys. "I failed you," he whispered to her portrait one lonely night. "I couldn't save you, and I can't save them either." Unknown to Damian, the twins often stood outside the doorway watching him. They couldn't hear his words, but they understood tears. Months later, the estate manager entered Damian's office. "Sir, we're interviewing applicants for the children's caregiver." "I don't care who you hire," Damian replied without looking up from his papers. "They've all resigned. The children barely connect with anyone." Damian sighed. "Then find someone patient." A week later, a young woman arrived carrying an old suitcase and a worn Bible tucked beneath her arm. Her name was Clara Bennett. She wasn't dressed like the other applicants. She wasn't nervous either. Instead, she smiled warmly at every employee she met. Some servants exchanged amused glances. "She won't last a week," one whispered. Clara heard them but simply smiled. The estate manager led her into Damian's office. Without lifting his eyes, Damian asked, "Why do you want this job?" She answered softly, "Because children deserve to feel loved." He finally looked up. "You've read my family's file." Yes. So you know my children cannot hear. I do. And that doesn't scare you. No, sir. What makes you think you can succeed where dozens have failed? Clara smiled gently. I'm not coming to fix them. Damian frowned. Then why are you here? I'm here to care for them. For the first time in years, someone had answered him without fear. He studied her for a long moment before saying quietly, We'll see. As Clara left the office, she noticed Noah and Lily peeking from behind a hallway pillar. She knelt until she was at their eye level, waved with a bright smile, and slowly mouthed, Hello. The twins stared at her curiously. Then, for the first time in months, Lily smiled. From that day forward, Clara never tried to force her way into the twins' hearts. She earned their trust one small moment at a time. Every morning, she greeted them with a cheerful smile, patiently teaching herself sign language so she could communicate with them. Every afternoon, she drew pictures, played games, and encouraged them to read her lips. Every evening, she opened her little Bible, bowed her head, and prayed quietly before humming a gentle worship song. Although Noah and Lily could not hear a single note, they loved watching her face. They copied the movements of her lips, giggled as they tried to imitate the words, and clapped excitedly whenever she smiled at them. Hidden security cameras captured every moment. Late each night, Damian found himself watching the recordings. One evening, he saw Clara hand Noah a drawing. She slowly signed, You are brave. Then she turned to Lily and signed, You are precious. The little girl threw her arms around Clara. Damian paused the video. No one has ever looked at them like that, he whispered. The following week, he accidentally overheard two servants talking. Did you know Miss Clara spends part of her salary buying books and learning materials for the twins? The master doesn't even know. Damian frowned. That afternoon, he called Clara into his office. I checked the receipts, he said. Why are you spending your own money on my children? Clara answered without hesitation. Because love isn't measured by whose name is on a birth certificate. For several seconds, Damian could not speak. Before she reached the door, he quietly asked, Why haven't you quit? Everyone else did. She smiled. I made a promise to God that I wouldn't walk away from people simply because they're hurting. Her words echoed in Damian's mind long after she left. Days later, another devastating medical report arrived. The specialist shook his head. I'm sorry, Mr. Crawford. We've exhausted every realistic treatment available. Damian stared at the floor. So, this is it. I'm afraid so. Driving home, hopelessness settled over him like a storm cloud. That evening, he announced, I've enrolled Noah and Lily in a specialized boarding school overseas. Perhaps they'll have a better future there. Clara's face fell. They need their father more than another building. They need opportunities I can't give. They need your love. Damian's voice cracked. I don't know how. Without another word, he walked away. That night, Clara sat beside the twins after they had fallen asleep. She folded her hands. Lord, she whispered through tears, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but you do. Please bring healing to this family, whatever that healing looks like. As dawn painted the sky with soft golden light, Clara quietly opened the curtains. She smiled at the sleeping twins. Then she began humming the same worship song she had sung every morning for months. Suddenly, Lily's eyes opened. She frowned. Her tiny head turned toward Clara. Noah slowly sat upright. Clara stopped singing. The room became still. Then Lily stretched out her hand. Again. Clara's heart raced. What did you say? The little girl pointed at her mouth. Again. With trembling lips, Clara began singing once more. Noah's eyes grew wide. Lily covered her mouth in disbelief. Very softly, almost like a whisper carried by the morning breeze, they began repeating the words they had learned for months simply by watching Clara's lips. At that exact moment, Damian glanced at the live security feed on his tablet. His coffee cup slipped from his hand and shattered across the floor. No. He rushed upstairs faster than he had run in years. The bedroom door burst open. There stood Clara with tears streaming down her cheeks, while Noah and Lily continued singing in trembling little voices. Damian fell to his knees. "My Bobbies." The twins turned toward him. Daddy," Noah whispered. Damian wrapped both children in his arms and wept openly for the first time since Isabella's death. "I'm so sorry," he cried. "I thought I had to carry this pain alone. Please forgive me." Clara quietly stepped toward the door. "Miss Clara," Damian called through his tears. She turned. "Thank you for giving this family hope when I had none left." She smiled. "It wasn't me. Sometimes hope begins with one small act of love." Months later, Crawford Estate no longer felt like a museum of grief. Laughter filled the halls. The old piano was played again. Damian established the Isabella Crawford Foundation to support deaf children with education, therapy, and family care, ensuring others would never feel as alone as his family once had. Clara never became just another employee. She became part of the family that had once forgotten how to smile. And every morning, whenever music drifted through the mansion, Damian closed his eyes, smiled toward heaven, and silently thanked Isabella for the beautiful family they had dreamed of together. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video. And for more interesting stories like this, hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. Share this story with someone who needs a reminder that even after years of silence, hope can still find its voice. Do you believe miracles still happen today? Or do you think this family's greatest miracle was simply learning to love again? Tell us what you think in the comments below.